alive. Yo, welcome back. So today we're going to be installing my sway bars. I just got done installing my motor mounts and my transmission mount on my car. If you want to take a look at that video, make sure to take a look. I just probably put it up right before this video. That went a lot better than I thought. I have headers, aftermarket headers, so it made it a little easier. It made it easier so that I didn't have to like really do anything crazy. I just pretty much unbolted the 2 bolts or 4 bolts for both motor mounts and it went in. So, but that's not what we're here for. We're here for the sway bar. So I'm going to be installing the sway bars on this car, and I'm going to start by doing the fronts first, and then I'm going to need to remove the exhaust and some other components to get to the rear sway bar. But here are the sway bars. Alright, so they're still packaged up. These are Z1 sway bars. That's for the front. This is for the rear, and then all the hardware and bushings and anything I would need for these guys. So going to start by removing the front sway bar, and then we're going to install this. The front sway bar is going to be probably the easier one to do. So let's go ahead and get started on that. Alright, so I'm going to start by taking off the sway bar end link off the sway bar. And then I'm going to take off I'm going to loosen the bolts for the sway bar bracket. And just like that, sway bar is out already. Easy. So here's a comparison of the new sway bar that I'm putting in on the front to the old one, and it is a lot bigger. Like, it is way beefier. Like, I've seen videos, and when people say it's a lot bigger, it's a lot bigger. In person, it's really beefy. This is the bracket and the bushing for it, and it comes with some lubrication that you're going to put on the inside. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and get ready to put up the new sway bar. So I'm going to lubricate my bushings with this lubricant that they provided. They gave me 2 packs. So you're going to want to put some on the inside of the bushing and on the inside of the bracket right here. So that's what I'm going to do, or maybe just put it on the sway bar, and then yeah, so gonna do that. Alright, I got my sway bar here. I'm gonna start by just trying to fit it in and loosely install these nuts. This is pretty tough by yourself. And then there's the second one. Alright, so now that that's in, we can put in our sway bar end link. I believe I'm going to put it on the outer setting, and then on the other one I'm going to put it in the rear. I'm going to put it in the I don't want my sway bar to be, since I'm running a stock sway bar end link, I don't want it to be too much of an angle for it. So I'll be running it on the outer, on the front. Regardless, it's going to be a big difference. Maybe if I get some aftermarket adjustable sway bar end links, I'll change it. But I believe in the rear, I'm going to go with the metal setting, and we'll go more over that when we get there. So I'm going to put the nuts I'm gonna torque these all down, and then I'll be done with the front. And just like that, my new sway bar is installed. It's very nice, it looks cool, it's red, my car's red, I love it. Brackets are torqued to 38 foot-pound. Sway bar end links are torqued to 62 foot-pounds. And that's pretty much it. Now to install the rear. But to do that, I first need to remove the exhaust. I need to remove the other components, and I'll show you guys every time I remove a component and kind of talk about it a little bit as I go until I remove the sway bar. And then you can see my old transmission mount right there. I installed a new one. If you guys haven't seen the video, I posted that up not long ago. I also did the motor mounts in that video, and I have aftermarket headers. As you can see, it was pretty easy with the aftermarket headers. I didn't have to remove anything. If you don't have aftermarket headers, you're probably going to want to remove your headers. So in that, while you're doing that, you might as well get new headers if that's what you're in the market for. Alright, so making some great progress. The exhaust is out. It's the axle back, which is an ISR dual exhaust. So it looks like I only really need to remove the axle back because my drive shaft's right here. So if I just remove the drive shaft from the diff and I take out the sway bar, which that's gonna come after taking out this brace. I don't know what it's called, but it looks like it just has like 8 bolts total, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere around along those lines. Take this off, and then I should be able to remove the sway bar. The reason why I brought up the drive shaft is because I am changing out the bushing for my differential. As you can see, it has that little teardrop. So I'm just doing all the videos in at once, but I'm releasing them separately. So this is the sway bar video. So exhaust is off. Time to take off this brace, and then I'll take off the sway bar. All right, y'all. So the brace is off. Good news and bad news. Good news is I got it off. The bad news is that the 4 bolts on the end, on the opposite end from where we are, they were like mushroomed out. Like, this is supposed to be a whole bolt. This is what it's supposed to look like. I was able to take them off with a vice grip, luckily, and I was able to extract the one that didn't even have a head anymore. So it's completely off. So double good news is I got it completely off without having to run to the parts store. Bad news is I need to order 4 more of these, but honestly it could have been worse. So I got it off. That is a good example of why you don't lower your car too low. When I first got the car, I had some BC Racing extremely low, and I maxed it out like as low as I could because I wanted to be cool. This was like almost 8 years ago when I first got the car. So when I first got it, that was the route that I was going with it. Clearly I've damaged some things under there, but right now I'm correcting them. So I'm happy to be not about that life anymore. But yeah, so if you're gonna lower your car, don't do it too low unless that's really what you're going for, because the stance is like, you know, that's something that people are interested in, that's things that, you know, people like, but that's not for me anymore. But super happy I got that off, and now I'm gonna take off the rear sway bar. All right, quick update. Rear sway bar is out, as well as my differential, and my axles are disconnected, my drive shaft is disconnected. I'm not gonna connect my sway bars at the moment until I finish putting all my bushings on my differential. And I also have sleeves for my rear subframe somewhere around here. There they are. These sleeves are going to be going on the subframe. So I already installed the new bushings on my differential. I removed the old ones. I'm getting ready to install the subframe sleeves. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that before I start installing the big boy, the one that takes the most time. A lot of people struggle, so see how I do on this. All right, so I was able to get the inside of the bushing out, the inner guts of it, and now I'm trying to get the outer shell. which I haven't made any progress. This is really difficult. Because the car is on jack stands and not on the lift, I don't have a whole lot of leverage. So I'm going to try to just use a sawzall and cut a slit and then punch it out with the flat head. So there's my little sawzall, and wish me luck. Gonna do my best to not score the inside of the subframe. I'm just gonna keep checking every couple seconds. But I got all the collars and sleeves on the rear subframe installed. You guys wouldn't be able to see it, but they're pretty much in. After a lot of cutting and prying, I finally got it out, and it was not fun, but I know I saved a lot of time getting the sawzall, skill saw or whatever, so I'm kind of happy about that. So now I'm going to install the new one. I'm also gonna lubricate the bushing. It'll go in like this with this like notch end, and then this side will go facing the back, so it'll go something like this. And then the instructions say to hit it in with the mallet, so I'm going to try with the mallet. Otherwise I'm going to use the tool that Z1 gave me. So let's see if I can get it in there. All right, gonna hit it in. Alright, so it started going, but I think I'm gonna resort to the tool only because I don't feel it budging anymore. So I got it started with the mallet, but it wasn't budging anymore. So now I have the removal tool, and I'm using it as an installation tool now. I have a flathead and a screwdriver on each side of that part of the tool of the removal. And it's kind of just like stopping this guy from going in, and then I'm gonna pretty much tighten over here so I can push it through. So here we go. Alright, so I got my rear diff bushing installed. I already have my bushing installed on my diff. I can't barely see them, but they're right there. They're installed. Alright, with the diff bushing installed finally, which was very tough, I'm now going to put my diff back in. This will be a little tough by myself, but you know, it is what it is. So I got my jack ready, and now I'm going to install it. Alright, next I'm going to install my diff brace. This is what's gonna help really like hold together my and tighten the rear end. So I'm going to install this next, and I'll show you when it's on the car. Alright, so got my rear diff bushing in, got my differential in, got my drive shaft connected, and my axles. The rear bushing is torqued to 81 foot-pounds. The axles are supposed to be torqued to 52 foot-pounds. I did 55. The drive shaft is torqued to 54 foot-pounds. And then the two bushings right there that hold the front end of the pumpkin is torqued to 74 foot-pounds. Right there. So it's all in, and I'm very happy. That was not fun doing it by itself. The tube, the breather hose on the top that you won't be able to see here, you're able to install that after the drive shaft or the differentials in. I kind of was trying to do it at the same time, but I couldn't, so I told myself I'll just figure it out once it's up there. And the clamp, you're able to maneuver it on there without with your fingers. You don't need no tools for that. And then the wires or the connectors for the VLSD or for the slip, I installed those. I routed them back through the top of the subframe. So everything's coming along and looking good. And there it is. So I have my Z1 diff brace installed. I went ahead and installed my rear sway brace. Everything's torqued. The end link is torqued to 41 foot-pounds, and the bracket is torqued to 38 foot-pounds. But it looks nice. It's good. Gonna put my exhaust back, but I gotta wait so that I can get my. So that right there is, you can barely see it, but at the tip of my finger, that's the brace that goes on the rear subframe, because I pretty much messed up the bolts with lowering my car. This guy right here, I have to wait for these to come in. Yeah, it was crooked too, so thankfully I was able to get those out, pull all 4 of them out. Waiting on Nissan to get those in. Once I get those in, I could put the brace back in, I could put the exhaust back in. Then I'm going to do an oil change, and the oil change on my supercharger, and I'll be good to go. And I'll give you guys a POV of driving the car, how it feels. So overall, that took me quite a while to do. I spent like a whole weekend and a half. I'm not done yet. Still need to install my exhaust. I'm gonna do, like I said, a oil change on the car. I'm gonna take the extra step and take off my oil cooler, drain the oil out of there, so it can be mostly all fresh oil. That's the downside of having an oil cooler, is you won't be able to do you won't be able to fully drain out all the oil until you take out the oil cooler. I tend to not really do that often, so I'm gonna take the time to do that. And then I'm gonna have the magnetic oil drain plug, which, you know, every oil change I'll be able to inspect that to see how if I'm having any metal shavings or anything in the engine. Gonna do an oil change on my Pro Charger, and then that's gonna be pretty much it. I'll be able to do a drive, and I'm excited for that drive. I'm really excited. I'm gonna be doing some more videos on the Z. I do want to get some new wheels, maybe like some 18s, so that way I can get some thicker tires. Maybe that'll give me some more traction. And then I do have a cosmetic coming in for the Z, something that I've always wanted for years, never got because it was so expensive. But stay tuned. That part has been on the way and has been on order since months ago, like I think December or something. But yeah, I'm super excited to install that and show you guys what it is. So just stay tuned for that video as well. And I do plan on doing, like I said before, a video on, you know, what I think, should you buy a Z, pros and cons, what I love and what I hate about the Z. I'm gonna do a video on that. I've owned the car for almost 9 years, so I have a lot of experience and my personal opinions on what I think of the car. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.